Good day friends, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. We are here to compute the following limits. Limit as n is approaching 0 of 5 raised power n minus 1 all over n. We need to know that x here can be written as a raised power the natural logarithm of x. Okay. Now 5 raised power n, which is here, 5 raised power n can be written as a raised power the natural logarithm of 5 raised power n. Okay, now using the property of logarithm, you know this n is coming like this, so we have 5 raised power n to be equal to e raised power n times the natural logarithm of 5. Okay, so the following limit is the same as limit as n is approaching 0, e raised power n times the natural logarithm of 5 minus 1 all over n. Okay, now we're going to recall the series expansion of the exponential a. Okay, so we have e raised power x to be equal to sum as n is going from 0 to infinity x raised power n all over n factorial. Okay, now expanding this, we have, when n is equal to 0 here, x raised power 0 is 1 over 1 factorial is 1. Okay, plus when n is equal to 1, x raised power 1 is x, over 1 factorial is 1, plus when n is equal to 2, we have x raised power 2 over 2 factorial, plus when n is equal to 3, x raised power 3 all over 3 factorial, plus and so on. Okay, now using this, we're going to expand this e raised power n times natural logarithm of 5. So we have e raised power n times the natural logarithm of 5 to be equal to 1 over 1 plus n times natural logarithm of 5 over 1 plus n squared times the natural logarithm of 5 squared over 2 factorial plus n cubed times the natural logarithm of 5 cubed over 3 factorial plus and so on. Okay, now subtracting 1 from both sides, so we have e raised power n times the natural logarithm of 5 minus 1 to be equal to 1 over 1 plus n times natural logarithm of 5 over 1 plus n squared times natural logarithm of 5 squared over 2 factorial plus n cubed times natural logarithm of 5 cubed over 3 factorial plus and so on, then minus 1. Okay, now remember that this 1 and this negative 1 here get cancelled out, so we are left with e raised power n times natural logarithm of 5 minus 1 to be equal to n times natural logarithm of 5 over 1 plus n squared times natural logarithm of 5 squared over 2 factorial plus n cubed times natural logarithm of 5 cubed over 3 factorial plus and so on. Now dividing both sides by n, so we divide both sides by n. So what do we have? So we have e raised power n times natural logarithm of 5 minus 1 all over n to be equal to, now remember n cancel n here, so we are left with natural logarithm of 5 plus this n reduces this n here to n, so we have n times natural logarithm of 5 squared over 2 factorial plus this n reduce this n to n squared, so we have n squared times natural logarithm of 5 cubed over 3 factorial plus and so on. Okay, now we can easily compute the limit. Now remember that in the following limit, n is approaching 0, so the limit can be rewritten now as limit as n is approaching 0. So instead of writing this, So we replace it with this series. So we have natural logarithm of 5 plus, n times natural logarithm of 5 squared over 2 factorial plus, n squared times natural logarithm of 5 cubed over 3 factorial plus, and so on. Now remember that here n is approaching 0, so we have natural logarithm of 5 plus n is approaching 0 here, so we have 0 plus n is approaching 0, we have 0. We keep getting 0, but this is actually equal to what? 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 all the way to infinity is still 0. So this is what? Natural logarithm of 5. So we deduce that the limit as n is approaching 0 of 5 to the power n minus 1 all over n is equal to what? The natural logarithm of 5. Thank you for viewing, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos. Thank you.